So, welcome, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're joining. Thanks for joining. Today, we have an exciting session with my friend Paul Wilkinson. You have probably seen him on the social media a lot. He's a very active and avid follower and user of social media. A little bit on Paul. Paul has been working with Gaming Works for the last 18 years. He has helped develop a lot of good stuff, content for Gaming Works, and he's one of the designers for the Marslander game. And we'll talk a little bit about that game as well. And that has a very, very direct impact and effect on the service management that we talk about. He's also a very senior speaker. He's spent a lot of effort on speaking on ITSMF and various forums. And also on a nice note, he's also been a cartoonist and used a lot of his creative self into following those images for the rest of us to really cherish. So thank you, Paul, for your time and welcome to this
Thank you.
session.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm looking forward to hearing the questions.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. What I would like you to do, if that's possible in a couple of minutes, is give an overview of the Marslander game.
Okay. The Marslander business simulation, it's used to be a classroom-based simulation where we bring 12 to 13 players together in a classroom. But since COVID, we've had to build it online. So it's also an online game. But what happens in the simulation? In a simulation, we put a team of people together and they play the mission control room of the flight from Marslander. And this team of players is made up of end-to-end stakeholders. What do I mean by that? In the game, we have different business managers. We have a business manager responsible for innovation, a business manager responsible for business as usual. We have the complete end-to-end IT team, service desk, system engineering, ops, vendor, and we've also got service management in the game. So we've built, in fact, the end-to-end delivery chain. Now, in a simulation, we let people design and agree the way they want to work together. So we give them time to design, how are you going to work together? Then we launch the rocket, and then lots of demands and opportunities come into the game. The business owner brings in new innovation projects. The flight operations brings in issues that need solving. The service desk gets automated events. Systems engineers got lots of problems that need solving. There's lots of changes that need to be done. The service manager's got lots of improvement projects. So suddenly the team is confronted, just like reality, far too much work. And they now have to manage the work using their own agreements. And usually what they find out is their roles were unclear. They didn't document who did what. They didn't know how to prioritize work. They didn't know what value looked like. So after the first game round, in fact, we stop and we reflect with the team. So the team gets to practice at the end of the game round. One of the ITIL guiding principles, progress iteratively with feedback. Let's capture feedback. How did it go? What went well? What went wrong? What can we improve in the next game round? So progress iteratively. We then give them some new ITIL theory or agile theory or DevOps theory and says, this is what ITIL says would have solved what just went wrong. So which bits of this ITIL theory could we adopt and apply for the next game round? Such as, let's define the value stream. Let's document a value stream. Let's create a visual management board, some sort of Kanban board. So we get them to apply bits of ITIL. Then we play the next game round and we give them another massive amount of work to do and see whether they can now apply these new ITIL concepts and improve the way they work together as a team to see if it makes a difference. So at the end of each game round, we're continually doing this. Progress iterative feedback. We show them their scores at the end of each game round. Did we make the revenue? Is the customer happy? Are we getting the right amount of work flowing through? Are we causing rework and downtime? So we actually measure each game round their value. So over the course of a day, they play a number of game rounds, practicing continual improvement and looking at the value. At the end of the day, we then look back with them. What happened in game round 1, 2, 3, 4? What do you recognize from reality? Yeah, that's just like reality. What did you apply in the simulation that enabled you by the end of the game round to say, this feels good, it's comfortable, we achieved all our goals? What did you apply in this game that you now need to take away and apply in your company? So the end of the simulation is 3 key questions. What did I learn? What can I personally take away and start doing differently? What do we need to take away as a team to start doing differently? So the game is, in fact, a continual improvement instrument, because at the end of the day, you get captured, shared, agreed, committed to improvement actions that people want to take away and take away to solve problems that they recognized in the simulation. Hey, this is just like reality. These are exactly the problems we're facing in reality. Okay, so let's practice then in a safe environment. How can you solve them? That's what a simulation is.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. I think having known the game, the Marslander is by far the most, I think, famous and the most relevant, Idle 4 game. So I think it's pretty important, and people who played it really like it. It's more interesting rather than doing a theoretical program. This is more a hands-on, practical demonstration of how collaboration works, how the incidents move, how the whole value chain is managed. So it's a very cool way of seeing gamification of the whole ITIL practices in action. So thank you so much for your time, Paul. It is time for us to say goodbye. So I'd like to thank you for your time and for your insights and for sharing with us some of the very difficult questions and their responses. And we look forward to probably having you on the show again to shed some light. And thank you all viewers. If you have any questions on Marslander, there is an email ID that is provided below. Please reach out to any one of us. If you have any questions for us or with Paul, we'll be happy to respond to you on that. Thank you so much and have a great day. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you very much for inviting me. And I'd just like to remind your audience one more time, value, flow, continual improvement. Keep practicing those and things will go much better. Thank you for inviting me on this.